You see, when they knew that that girl was gonna die, and she had that in her head, not her ass or a microchip like you, those buildings are empty because that girl died. There's other buildings that are empty in Western Europe and other countries, but they're not American. You think they're American. Yeah, I keep my mouth shut. But you see, what made me famous was that I was famous and then known for having the head bashed in. The problem is, she was also famous for the spaceship. Now, she became Laika the dog when she had her head bashed in. In other words, if they made, you see, if you make new shit and you have a share that's historic, and they say it's the big one, then you smash your head in on the go slides. They say, well, that was the big one. But we don't care because we're fascists and we're the Fourth Reich in California on the go slides. You know, you can't stop the Harry Potter gossip around the world about that girl alone. Now, the thing that she wasn't alone with the flyers and the runners is obvious. That girl was flying and running with others on the coastlines in other parts of the world. Now, 92 and above the flyings, it was okay because the parents are in Fresno retirements and I'm on the coastlines and elsewhere around the world. On 85, no. But when the CIA saw that, okay, we think she's going to die, everybody else around the world said she's going to die, they fell with her. You understand? So it's not a question of why. It's not a question of why did the Italians, at La Sapienza or Italians or UN, why did Woolwich, Martin Snowden with the white eyebrows, the sciences, and Woolwich at the age of 15, end of sciences, that was School of Sciences. If these people, the lowlands, if these people are the ones who are telling you, BBC Channel 4, Messaggero, that I was a phenomenon in space, and that, yes, technology, and that's that on the ghost lines because there were others who joined forces with her. Why? Why? Why did you bash Jamila's head on the ghost lines? It's not only a cosa celebra I swept 221 around the world. I mean, I can keep my mouth shut. Then they say, well, there's Uber mentions the results. So the Germans are saying, when I smash your head on the ghost lines, you're going to blow some pig. That's product of tax. You should see the original Jamila. If you smash somebody's head on the ghost lines, it means there's the Hague of Dirk-Jan van Dam, the Bureau de Veritas, the Hague. Meaning a big crime happened on the ghost lines that you don't give a shit about. That's what's void, beautiful void. You send the bitches and hoes here, because it's prophecy, of course, to work. You have to send the hoes, American hoes, and your asshole boyfriend. This is, or Ukrainian here or that, it's the same. You know, these are federal prisoners on my little rollies, who are from the federal prisoners in LA, but they're from, they were born and raised in Fresno. So you see, Tom and Jerry Diet Towers, whoever runs that place, sure, you can blame everyone and anything in that place, the intel of Fresno. So I wouldn't trust the federal prisoners either. Maybe they're even scared of Tom and Jerry Diet Towers. You know, sometimes, you know, if you've been a local prison and then federal prison in LA, you'll be like, well, Tom and Jerry Diet Towers is a nutcase. Maybe I should do a favor for him. And so forth. This is kindergarten. This is middle school. This is high school. Bonelli was a restaurant owner in Fresno, Via Bonelli and Ambre, between the ages of 10 and 12, not even high school. Middle school. Via Bonelli, yeah, that's where Antonella Guarnera lives, the scout trainer. You know, it was a restaurant owner in Fresno, but Bonelli is also the foreign minister in Italy. That's friends with Giacomo Martelli's son, who was also the foreign minister. Ministry of, both of them ministers of foreign affairs. So, you know, and that's where the streets in Umbria. I said Morta. It's not even Via Morte. You know, and that was Ambrit. Because everyone knows who you are in Fresno. Even 5-year-olds in Italy and London, Warsaw Internationals, Russia, Saudi Arabia, Cairo, East Coast. The hanging benches of Lara Quetas and Nazaret won't give you an answer. Those Supreme Court justices in DC, Langley, Brussels, I'm going to say to you, why are you defending the father and mother? They can't give you a fucking answer. That shit in Fresnos, intelligence, nurses, the 5X bras, doctors, the hospital, the nursing homes. What do you fuck want from my father and mother? Huh? The majority of cars and his 20 million wives, his narcotics pass. He's a born-again Christian running downtown. His puppy dicks privates. Lester Wolf, Virginia Woolf. 50 grandmas. I had to go to 50 or 30 funerals for sure. Many of the others, they invited me. I was a caregiver there, I told you already. I was just sitting there saying, I have cancer, I've got cancer, I have all of that. I don't want any of my children, any of my grandkids, they're careerists. I don't want to see them up a funeral. How many times Catholic Charities called me to go to the funeral? I went for 1 minute or 2 minutes a lot. They don't even remember their names. Except for Virginia Woolf, Lester Wolf's grandmama. Puppy dicks. Yeah, the private Blackwater who bought our house. What do you think the world puppy dicks? In any case, it's plasma. In other words, you could do all the flyings and you could do all the runnings. You could do all the flies 92, 92 and above, elsewhere, and in plasma. You can do all the runnings elsewhere than that. 85, 85, and obsess about the parents and know that you're going to die at the end of 85, 85. Come out like this, like Disneyland. From the ghost lines, a phoenix. You say to me, the girl has blues. Not from, because you see, to make Ubermensch, you don't smash the head of a girl. You don't smash the head of a girl to get Ubermensch. They made them in Western Europe. Because they could see it coming like a freight train. So it's like, okay, you want to die, you want to be killed. I said to them, in Russia, I said to them in Saudi Arabia, I said to them in the UN, and I said to them in Woolwich in the inner circles when I was doing all the flyings and runnings. They're going to kill me on the ghost lines at the end of 85, 85, you know, with all the runnings. Did anybody listen on the ghost lines in California? No. There's all these flies, there's all these runs. Nobody gave a shit. Everyone knew that Jamila was famous on 92, 92 and above of the Barons. Even on 85, 85 of the Barons, she was famous. Jamila, the original. In Western Europe. Phenomenon. Famous for being a space break. Famous for being a science tech break. You smash your head on the ghost lines. Why do you think they were mermaid ages ago with the globals? Shit, what a bunch of bitches you are in the US. I'm better. That's the ghost lines. You didn't even kill Jamila. Those bridges, DC, Rome, Cairo, Saudi, Russia, London, also internationals. Square, Hostel, pink. Bridge, pink. Grey, sorry. I think of the whole thing as being pink. But it's actually grey. That's where all the bullets are. That was you and your friends on the ghost line. I'm looking at them and say, I've known this for a long time. You know, everybody's saying to me as a child, but what am I going to say? That shit's getting worse. It's empty and it's got plum head. Am I going to reopen? I had my head bashed in. I was phenomenal. You're jealous even just to listen to that because you're mentally retarded. Americans. You know, you're mentally retarded. As I said, there's a problem of your bitches being controlled. Literally, I didn't even say whores. Both. You know what I'm saying? Interchangeably. In other words, if you have a specific set of, I won't even call it set, that, and you have a name, if you have your head bashed in on the ghost lines, it ends up being called celebre. And everyone knows what you're doing, correct? And then you speak about prophecy, it has to be void, and she has to be empty. Well then, and it must move the shit. But what about all the others? The Western European corporations, ESA, not NASA, ESA, the Russian Mir, all the Mirs that were in the UN, in Rome, in Woolwich, in Western Europe, which I grew up with. Those buildings are empty. Since I died. They're not Elon Musk's, you stupid fucking whores. They're gonna stay empty in California where she had her head bashed in. Which means whatever is ours in California to start with comes back in body bags from the coastlines and those bridges. That's all news on the news what the Plum has. Not everyone had their head bashed in or shot down on the coastlines. Not everyone had their head smashed and teeth smashed like me. Many of those buildings are actually mine. I was a flyer and a runner. I was a breaker. I wasn't a CEO like Elon Musk. In other words, it was in my head, not in a microchip. So that's what Jamila was famous for. The problem with you is that you stuck me with your psychos and everything else when the girl already had her head bashed in as Disney, which tells me you don't know what that girl did. As for the Mossad and this claim that I'm bin Laden, I actually, a lot of people disagree with Israel. They disagree with the Mossad. The Brits are one of them. They don't like Mossad. Neither do the Germans. Neither do the Europeans. You can even say the Italians. They're not Jewish. They're not pro-Jewish. And once you get that through your head, the normality of it, and stop sticking me with Jewish people who hate me, or white people who hate me because they're not normal, or Hispanic girls who can't control their jealousies. When you understand why you attempted to kill Disneyland, and the only reason Disneyland came after head host Bastion on the Ghost Lines was Connect the Dots Global and the big shit she used to do before. Therefore, you're in trouble too. I'm not here to have sex with you. I'm here to kill you. Because you're federal prisoners following and stalking me. You're not here to kill the baby. We're here to put you back to federal prison in LA. Psychos and stalkers. You want to try to do that to me and abuse me? We have the Roman Tribunal on top of The Hague and the Bureau de Veritas of Dirk Jan van Dam. So, if there are even these blues or eggs that they claim around the capital cities, which I wouldn't talk about. Why? Because out of 80 countries that know my name, I said, oh, she's alive, they did the genetic, and took her away. Okay. The Dar es Salaam neighborhoods of 80 countries. On my crawlies, literal crawlies, not 80 countries, that Russia, Warsaw Internationals, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Italy, England. When you understand about just the nails, that's the old news on the news, Connect the Dots Globals. The reason you hate me with the Disney version of my original self is because you didn't have that up your ass. You didn't have that up in your head. You didn't have any beauty. There's no beauty in you. There's more beauty in a dead baby like me because I have to put up with your shit because you're insanely jealous, even of a dead baby. A mind is dead. You understand this, what a tripod replacement Disney is, after you smash your head on the ghost lines. They call me the ghost child in the house, you piece of fucking shit. And whoever connected with me and watching me here, anyone that is in any shape or form liable will be called a co-conspirator to the death of the intel on the ghost lines. If not that, then just a stalker for Disneyland. Why? Why are you a stalker of Disneyland? All of you. Give me an answer. Give me a fucking answer. You will lose in this government because of your retards. And more. Because what happened on the ghost lines continues without me. No one's going to fall with a girl in 80 countries and have plum hairs and then have the same in the CIA from before and let go of that when you already know what happened there with the mermaid. If you already know about the plum hairs, no one's going to agree with your cheap ass. They're going to agree with me. Why? Because there were big losses on the coastlines that have nothing to do with cheap ass Mossadian banks. And if you think we like Mossadian banks, we will rat your fucking ass out any minute. What are you, crazy? You have offended kindergarten around the capital cities. And that was all news on the news, just to make me suffer on my crawlies and literal crawlies. But there's another thing that you forgot. That shit continues without me. So when you said, I'm happy the bitch is dead, why were there so many that fell with that girl in that Titanic? Why that much intel on the Holy Grail decided to join forces with Jamila and not your fucking asses and your stalkers? Of course they could sue you with the Roman Tribunal billions. I wouldn't even get a cent. The only thing I did was get a free education. High school with the president's kids and others. At 15, college, free, apartment paid, the whole shit. Minimal charges per year. Not even Intel, at least not the original one. Look at me. So when intelligence brings back Disney, they do it for a reason of its own. That's Connect the Dots Globals. You don't scare me. You sicken us. You sicken the people who are watching you. You understand? Because you're not normal people. You're bad inside. And the bad that you have inside will be reflected. Now, if you're bad because you're sick, that's something else. But if you're bad because you're bad and sick, man, I can't help you. If you're bad because you're bad, there's something else. If you're bad because you're a criminal and sick, I can't help you. If you're bad because you're just a criminal, I can't help you. I can't help you, fucking retards. So in other words, keep the fuck away from me and the others. Because those guys will continue, whether they're British, whether they're Italian, whether anyone on the planet, whether they're Russian or whether they're Saudi. In other words, the ones I come from and the ones where I was educated. That girl did something big. They will not let go of her. And proof in the pudding is they brought back Disney. You don't have to make everyone jealous with the Opus Dei or religions. Because you're such fucking whores and such stupid woman in America that even if they cloned me, which they did, unfortunately I have to say it. Now I held on at the beginning like a crab to Campbell, but there's Ubers. Now, what does it mean to have your head bashed in on the ghost lines and have Ubermensch as a side product? Go ask the Germans. Go Basler, not C++ Basler with the Pakistanis. Ask Basler about the Woolwichs and the other ones where I was born and raised. Que modelo de C++ in Pakistan for genetic. Ask him and he'll tell you, yeah, she has Ubers. Even after they smashed Jamila's head. So when I said to you, our national treasure, you trash on the ghost lines, it's all news on the news, the nails around the world's 80 countries and 25 states, you were the losers. And while you were kicking me around like, you're a loser, I'll kill you fucking Disneyland. This is how crazy and stupid America is. That's cause célèbre. That's why it's called cause célèbre in intelligence. Because you're retard haters. Disney can tell you that. What a bunch of assholes. In other words, I'm the stand-in. Stand-in, why? Because if the original had her head bashed in on the ghost lines, there's no way that intel itself exists. Another intel exists. Could be Ubers, could be blues, could be other pinks, blues, and so forth. But you don't see that. You see what you want to see, but we're telling you intelligence operates differently. You're obsessed with 9/11 because you're sick up your ass. Well, guess what? We got other projects on the ghost lines and around the world that are worth much more than some cheap-ass banks that we ratted out that we didn't like because it was Mossad. In other words, you're paying, and your criminals are paying, within the CIA and on the ghost lines and all the other crazies, stalkers and everything else, just for that. That's why I came back. And the fact you don't scam me. If I get raped, who gives? I'll be abused. There's a Roman tribunal. You rape me, they'll shoot the families down. I'm Disneyland. I'm not flyings anymore. I'm not runnings anymore. I'm Crawleys. I'm literal Crawleys. There's the literal Crawleys. They're showing something not normal with Cause Célèbre. They're showing those buildings are empty within the US and they're our corporations. If the agents doing the sharing are dead, you have void. They're our buildings. You can have your buildings, I'm not saying, with the taxes. Our buildings have left angels. Look at me and the others with the bum heads. We've left your fucking sick California. We've left the US. I'm the remnant, the relic of the Titanic on the ghost lines. You don't believe me? I don't give a shit. They don't bring back dead babies for nothing. Took us to the show, we're witness for that one alone. And while you sit on your fat ass, you get your PhDs and your limo fucking zines. I'm dead. You say, well, if she's dead, why fuck bitch ass? Yeah. Okay, thank you. Let's do just that. Stay out of the US. Family and me. So when somebody comes to a country and has more than a country, and has her head bashed in on those lines, she should stay out of this country. It's called landfill. Because that's the only way to stay out of this country. Even if I'm Disneyland. And there's no sacrifice in that by now. It's called landfill. You get pink, you'd be maybe a couple of blues. There's so many of them. But you're so angry. There's so many of them. I would skin you alive in a federal prison. where you belong again, including Fresno, those nurses for the parents. I would kill you if I was still in the intel communities. If I was capable of bringing space and science, if I was capable of all those shares, even on 85, 85, and then have my head bashed in on the lines, multitasking with the hanging benches of Lara Quintas and Nadia Direct, defending the parents over times, that many flies, that many runnings, and that many crawlies and electric crawlies of me. Let me put it this way. You lose in the US that many times. You are the losers, not the father and the mother. And in fact, the real loser is me, but the ones who lost with my death and the death of Intel was the US. Because we shut down those new buildings in space sciences and math, which were ours, in California and your coastlines. We also shut them down in Massachusetts and in NASA. ESA and NASA shut down. ESA, when I was in ESA, they all shut down. That was you, that was you, that was you. Okay. So why are we going back to the US? It's called Glenfell. Sorry, she goes. So, there are times why even the Opus Dei and everyone else with all the blessings will turn around and say, this country is fucking sick. And you are, because you're giving yourselves excuses. None of your hoes are going to fucking reopen ththose buildings of mine. In ESA or NASA. Or anywhere else. You're just not going to reopen any new shit of the 21st century. It's dead! Yeah, smash it. Germans are still speaking about a dead baby. Basler and all the others. Mind you. Why don't you go to Woolwich? This is all news on the news with the nails around. African nails. All news. Go to fucking London. At the age of 15, 16. At the university for free. Go to Basler. Go to the Germans. Hey. Don't go to some of the girls. Go to the guys. The big guys. And some of the girls. Ask them. What was she famous for? Before she had her head bashed. This is what she did. This is her intel. So it was space out. Yep. Tech. Yep. Advanced. Yep. Was it German? Or was it Russian? Saudi. UN. Woolwich. She worked long ago with the Americans. She had her head bashed in. On the coastline. She came back for a blimp in time. She'll be gone soon. She's Disneyland. Goes celebrity nails around the planet. Connected those globals. I said, what do you think about? Basel said, what? I named my nieces Jamila. Niece, Jamil. Why? She's dead. Obituary. Maybe he even loved me. Who knows? At that time, I didn't have time for shit. I was dilly squaw. I was either flying or running. Now what? Have a blimp attack? All the thing about blah, 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 Disneyland. I'm not me, you fucking bitch. I'm not me. It's Void. Dirk-Jan van Dam, The Hague. Your middle name is Void. Maria. Or Mario. Whichever you prefer. If you smashing somebody's head on the coastlines, you know when they say to you in elementary primary schools, you shouldn't be fucking here. Like us. With the genetic kids. Why? Shit in Western Europe with platinum hairs, all the operations. I look like a photocopy of the brats of the inner circles. I might as well just relegate myself to Britain or Italy. And you what? Smashed in her head on the coastlines and you have the empty buildings in the US. The other ones empty by the other buildings as a token of what? Token of peace. I go to the Dar es Salaam neighborhoods in all those countries on the horizon. I thought they had smashed her head in the phenomenal. Shut up. To make the impossible. To make the genetics. Bravo. You beat them. Saudi miles on the coastline. Bravo. These cheap asses in America. I'm looking at this shit with the Dar es Salaam neighborhoods on the horizon electric rollies. And like I said, you're sitting down like I'm that baby. Disneyland. You fuck up pieces of shit hoes. You have pretenses for that Sherlock Holmes. That's what about that. And a mermaid. Do it yourself, fucking bitch. US. Reopen my fucking buildings in space sciences in Western Europe and other countries and tell me why the hell Jamila had her head smashed on the coastlines and I come back like this because celebrity with the nails and that's all news on the news in 80 countries connected off the mouth. Excuse me. Problems? Would you like to make a PhD or would you like to have a limousine? Fucking ass. Otherwise, you can't even get the basics in kindergarten. You hate, you hate, you hate, you hate, and you hate more. Then when you lose more. And then when you see Disneyland, you want to even lose more with the Roman Tribunal, with the Cour Célèbre. US, do you need the Opus Dei, the Brits, the Muslims, the Russians, or do you need the Dalai Lama for me too? I'm just asking a retarded question, you fucking cheap assholes in America. And that's all news on the news, you fucking asshole. Let's start speaking like the Americans speak. Let's give it a twang of Disneyland mental retardation after the rompicabeza. Let's speak like you speak. You and your educated ones. The Mozzies don't buy you that shit. Not even an education buys you that shit. So, you were saying about achieving something in life. Yeah, stay the fuck out of the US. That's an achievement. You got the ICE going on. Everybody's pushing their asses coming to the US. You know what we're doing? Skunk and film. Keep your bitches. Keep your smelly asses. Keep your college education. Keep your limos, and I'm out. Disgust. Bring back Disneyland, and they say to me, well, be nice. Be nice? I got the whole goddamn word up my ass since I was a child. You is there over there. I'm out, let's stay. Stay out of the US. One less problem even for the hanging benches are with the Zanati Wreck. The many flying. The many running. The many brothers of the bay. In other words, you hate so much. Nobody can help you. Nobody can stop you to think rather than to jump to conclusion. I don't like what that bitch said. I don't give a shit what you like. In intelligence, nobody cares what you like. She had her head bashed in on ghost nights. That's old news. Can't be changed. You pay. The parents is something else. You don't like what you hear? I don't give a shit. Go back to kindergarten. You are the bad ones. Because if somebody has to go through all those pains and then they say, how she get out? What do you mean how I had to get out? I'm Disneyland. One way or another, I fucking found a way to get my sorry ass out. And the sad part is, you see, the CIA ends up paying. It ends up paying because if you do that many flights, no one says anything 92, 92 number. On 85, 85, the runnings, that many times, finding a problem is the easiest thing to anything, could be anything. On the, on the line of work. Yeah, even if you have so much, because the US can just say, well, who cares what we waste? But they knew about the ship. They knew about the mermaid. CIA always knew that the mermaid was going to happen globals. They always knew that those guys were going to pew, pew, pew with me. That bridge that went to bits everywhere. Those was us. If I have a little relic coming out like this from the ghost lines and saying, I'm the relic of the... Yes! I can't give a better example. But yeah, normally. That too. In other words, you can't put people through that. In other words, I'm an anomaly for them. I am phenomenal to Disney. Or phenomenal to Disney. So, for them, this shows something that's ugly. Okay? So you call me ugly because I died. So you're like, bitch is dead. Okay, but that shit's empty because I'm dead. Not because you are dead. Or your kids. So when the intelligence communities fell with Jamila around the world in 80 countries, especially in Western Europe, in England, and in Italy where she was born, I was born and raised in Western Europe. Not you, you fucking cheap whores in America. They fell with me, not with your cheap ass in America. They did the same in Russia and Saudi Arabia. They did the same in the UN. And they did the same in those other countries, 80 countries. Therefore, the CIA fell with me too. And they knew about that because they could see you coming like a freight train on the coastlines. California. So I'm not Jamila, okay? I'm not the original. I'm Jamila, just a different format. Then you smashed her head in. When I was a child, they removed my teeth. They injected me. They put me in genetic schools in the UN. Does that mean you have no ego? You have no power. You're a Disney version of yourself. You have a piece of paper to do one. Delph, no lands. You had your head bashed in on the coastlines. That's the result. Genetic. Can never, ever reopen her buildings. Her own buildings. So intelligence communities side with that girl. Intelligence communities worked with that girl. They're not going to work with your assholes. That's why those guys in the CIA worked with me and had a plan this. Your jealousy stems for. That's the colloquiality of jealousy and envy around the capital city. You think I like that shit? I've been vomiting since I'm 5 years old when I hear that. You'd be happy because you're American. She's jealous of me. No. You say to me jealousy and envy. I'm vomiting right out the fucking window. I'm not like you. Disney is not like you. She's not. Even Disney's not like you. And that's after you bashed my head in on the ghost slides. So if you want to bash my head in again in Disneyland, which is what you tried and failed, we also have the Roman Tribunal for the abusers. Yeah, the federal prisoners in LA were from Fresno. Because Fresno considers that it's, I don't know what. That's for the barons, though. That's where they retired. I used to be elsewhere. Just remember that. The family, the many flyings, the many runnings, especially. And at the end, I knew I was going to die. In fact, not at the end. I knew I was going to die. They had warned me long ago. You knew who you were on the ghost lines. The flyings and the runnings is the hanging benches of Laura Quintus and Nellie Direct defending the barons on Red Diamonds. When the girl died on the ghost lines, you said, well, fuck shit, that went to Titanic, they got plum heads. I can't do shit all. That's how I tell. You void your own shit. You voided ours, we take it. All of it, beautiful buildings and all. The fuck you think yourself? Confrontation between East and West. My girl. Then say to me, it's wrong close slides. Wait a minute. What's your Bugatti over there? Why is it going from the east to west? It's going to be east to west course. That's the wrong course line. Should have gone from west to east. Yeah, you retard. You ate it so much I couldn't even fucking think that way. Jesus. Because I don't think that way. It's too childish. It's not a question of too childish. It's too stupid. Children don't think that way. So this is the problem with you now. Why do you think I don't like maths? Why do you think I don't like taxonomy? Dead Latin. Because I'm thinking of stuffed animals and mooses. A wax theatre. Museum control. And that's right. I didn't expect anything from Which was? Zen. By then, it looked like they're doing my God. And this all started because of Fresno's retirement in the middle of California's desert. A shithole to start with, and a shithole to end. And the cheapest shithole in the US. Is this a power game? Must be a power game. Don't you think? It's a point in pioneer camps beyond the capital cities. They're directorates of Auschwitz, USA. Well, I was another reactive, and you know, the hiding better, I mean, that. You're telling me I didn't see all the rings. I didn't see all the Fly! Run! Wait, guess who? With your ass. Dang, if somebody says to you, I'm not afraid of your sorry ass, because I'm already dead and that shit's empty. I even got fucking Ubers that they call blues. They're nowhere near the original girl, nowhere near me, because quite frankly, I won't go near that shit. Or the family, yeah? Because the original girl had her head bashed in on the ghost lines, and that's not how you make Ubers or blues. Why? She goes a phenomenal waste. Think about it. So, that shit's hers. Many of those buildings, and some of them are ours. Therefore, we take them back to California. And I must move to Texas, we move out. Thanks for smacking my head on the ghost lines, patting my head on all the rest. So when you have new intelligence, new mathematics, that's not in a microchip, but it's in the brain of a girl. And we smash her head in, those buildings will be empty. Even at La Sapienza, yes, knowledge in Rome. Of course, I don't have no pretenses, because if I'm going to come back like this, I'm going to see this shit in Rome. Saying, it's just like, that was yours. It's empty because you did. What? There's a literature fish with that shit. I got white ass. I got. A me sembra vuoto. Empty. That's a 5-year-old. On the news with the nail. So the Scotland film is pretty clear to stay the fuck out of this country. You can have your PhDs. Okay? You can have your training in the gym to be fit. You can have your limo fucking scenes. I'm leaving. Now, considering I'm Disney, I'm still leaving. We're talking about the hanging benches of Laura Prentice and Nadia Ray. Okay? Because that can be changed. The void cannot be changed. The J-Lo concept cannot be changed. The void cannot be changed. That concept you hate, that you created, with the loss and the bashing of the head and the plum head, with your hate, smashing her head and seeing it coming, and having pretenses about it, and then still having pretenses about it when I come back. That's who you are, US. So the cause célèbre 221 became the girl who broke space and had her head bashed in on your coastlines. Those buildings were empty because of her. Others joined forces with her. Others fell with her platinum heads around the world and within the CIA long ago. In other words, the mermaid, the Titan, whatever on the coastlines. You want to make a paper extension to help the parents? You're welcome. Assistant in the house. You are shit in this country. And I'm not afraid to tell you that. Because if I have Martin Snowden, who's the head of sciences in Woolwich, the head of school with white hairs at the age of 15, 16 in college, Colin Hales, the others, Eleanor Thompson, the geneticist, Elementary Primary Smith, Isaac, old news on the news and nails. What am I afraid of? To tell you that I had a lonely existence ever since my original intel was smashed on the head on those slides. Phenomenal. With those buildings. Hers, not yours. Ours, not yours. Ours, not yours. What share was this? What was this? Famigerato share alla blessings del cazzo. Semi-cycled. That's not even going a good slur. Ugh. Yeah. We're staying in Rome for retirement. There. So now you see the Greta Thunberg. That's what they call the Disney version of that girl. So we did like a no teeth. Blimp out, blimpy, bye. Okay. Now, considering that's already lost, you're not going to get it back. Be happy about that. That's what I'm here to remind you. And also, I'm here to remind you that it's going to stay emptier with the plum heads. Because they continued without me. Maybe Dar es Salaam neighborhoods did have a point about that. Be happy at least about that. Because show what the fuck the US is. Well, with the rompicabezas and all that shit. Mommy has the bridges. The bridges are in London and Rome and Cairo, Saudi Arabia, Russia, was international, even in DC. Yeah, shut up. So, That was you guys. The bridges are, my even in Boris International, my cats. In other words, what's known is known. You cannot be just sitting there and lying to the end. There's all news on the news, the nails. You're like animals. If it hadn't been known what that girl had done, you would have killed me on the spot in America coming in this Disneyland. You know why? Because you're insanely jealous. Because you're insanely envious. And because maybe you're the criminals, aren't you? You're the accomplices to the criminals here in San Francisco. Aren't you? I see. Just what? Noisy background. I'm going to be yelling it straight out the top of my voice. Lungs on the growers and little growers all over the capital cities. On my growers and little growers all over the fucking capital cities. Under the times of the past, you fucking piece of shit. Including that shit on the bus lines. Got a good on the all. Man, oh fuck. They bring back Disneyland and these assholes don't know how to shut their fucking face. Coward. Petty. Arrogant. Voided buildings. Who can't reopen those voided buildings. Cowards. Petty. That's my buildings. When you talk to me about the father and mother, you know when they say, forget it, you cheap assholes. So lost every marble on the planet. I think one day, the intelligence community will have the courage to make a Disney version, not of the death of Intel, but for what they actually lost on the ghost signs, things like that. Like big shit. No banks. Banks are not big shit. We could do without banks, especially Jewish banks. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I'm just not Mossadian. So when you're dealing with other buildings that avoid, like Atlas Avienza and stuff like that, and space sciences and math, then you already have a different set of losses, okay? And when I say set, there were many, and the thing about the girl is, she actually, when they bashed her head in, when you smashed my head in with no teeth, they said it was unusual. They said that girl has Ubermensch, as crowns. Ubermensch, not James Bond. So when they say eggs in those schools, and I went for free to those schools, you don't have to be jealous of everything. If they if they shoot your ass, they won't bring you back. If they smash your head in, you're not coming back. As anything, let alone as Ubermensch, like me. I'm pink, there's blues. That was the secret I kept. But unfortunately, they all knew about the eggs. They knew about it in Berlin. They knew about it in London, obviously. All of London and Rome. I expected that from Western Europe. But I did not expect that from the Dar es Salaam neighborhoods of Moscow, Cairo, Saudi Arabia, Warsaw Internationals, and other countries. On my literal crawlies. Crawlies and literal crawlies. That I didn't expect. In other words, with the asswipe. They knew that that girl was a phenomenon in those 80 countries. They knew. Because maybe they had seen her flyings or runnings for herself, for the parents in Fresno. So I don't know. You'll be sitting there on your fat ass and looking at Disneyland version of that going, I'll fuck you, little bitch. But you're Let's stay and roll for a time with the Scotland film. Keep your bitches, keep your PhDs, and keep your fucking void. Ain't gonna bring that shit back to your fucking cheap ass country. Find somebody else to share shit for you when you're smashing her head. You are retarded animals. And haters. And those guys knew it. So to hate, just to hate, when they don't pick a better, is bad. If you knew, or the others knew that she was a phenomenon, that eventually maybe they would come back. But some neighbors, even the Dar es Salaam neighborhoods, were like, oh, they brought her back. Oh, here you go. Alive. The thing is, it wasn't one neighborhood, was it? It wasn't one country, and it wasn't one street, the Dar es Salaam neighborhoods, was it? On my crawlies and little crawlies. These needles. Man, what the fuck? In other words, it's difficult enough to connect the dots globals in 80 countries. I mean, you cheapos asses trying to rape me or whatever. Then they sue you with the Roman Tribunal. No, the Hague, Bureau de Veritas, Roman Tribunal. Maybe it'd be a second Hague for me. So you can feel good about your cheap asses. America, I don't know what's wrong with your brains. Of course I'm called celeb around the capital cities with the empty, beautiful buildings. She came back and said, shut. You're the only fucking country who doesn't give a shit about anything. Especially in California. The East Coast is different. I go to the East Coast, they're respectful to me. In California, it's like walking through sewage. Even Texas is more polite. I don't know what is California. I don't know what the worth of this state is, quite frankly. I can live on the East Coast. I swear by God I can live on the East Coast, even if Georgia's not my husband. I just won't. Connected dots globals and more. They're from New York, California, not New England. Texas, California? I don't know what the fuck resides in this state. I don't know what smelly asses live here. I don't know who you are in California, but you have attitudes that you're going to be losing intel for so long in this country. It's not the Chinese. It's not the Europeans. It's not the Russians. It's not the Arabs. It's not the Turks. It's not the Saudis. It's not the Africans. It's not the South Americans. It's you. It's you. It's what lives in California that's so shit. And you're American. You're Americans. You're not patriots. You're careerists. You'd kill anything to make some money. You'd kill anything to move up. Check. You would kill Marie Curie to move up. That's how cheap ass you are in America. Except that Jamila wasn't Marie Curie. Marie Curie was the easy shit. You are sick in the head. And you still hate me. This is an example of hate. And hate after the hate. And you're still losing. How? Because of the mermaid. Because globals knew that girl. And because they will not. In Russia, Saudi Arabia, Arabias, the UN, Western Europe, England, Italy, even Germany. They will not side with the US. They will side with me, the dead baby. Because of who you are in America. And what happened on the coastlines to that girl. So hate on hate, you have the cycles following up. So that's an example. So it's not a question of weakening me. Don't you, abuse, blah, blah. I only have 147 to 221 of geological rebirth for the pink house. They can do what they want. At this stage, I don't even have to tell you what's going to happen. Because you already have an idea of what was lost. You already have an idea of what might happen. And those guys left. You already know about the Platinum House. And that's it. And the falls and all the rest. What they call mermaid, Titanic. You call it what you want. I never cared to keep explaining the same to you. Even if I was in Disney mode. Because the intel in that girl was already lost. This is another girl. Okay? And other boys. Ubermensch are considered boys. Why? Because you smashed her head in on the coastlines. In other words, standards. Standards. So the losses in the US that you created by smashing my head and having those guys fall down, the Platinum House, the buildings, the corporations in Western Europe, the others who fell with me globals with the Platinum House because they knew who Jamila was. And prepared for the fall in Italy and in Woolwich and in Western Europe and those countries, all news on the news nails, is you, cheapos. Rompi cabeza. think intelligence is as stupid as you? Do you really believe that kind of intelligence and beyond that stupid as you? That not normal like you? That jumping to conclusions that you have to go to kindergarten to learn how to control yourselves because you're fucking animals? If you have such intel and you smash that girl's head in all those times and you know it's going to continue without her with the plum has, what the fuck does that tell you? What does it tell you about the intel? About the kind of intel? It was the big one. In other words, your feeling of killing an Arab, a Russian, a Turk, a German, a Brit, an Italian, that ugliness within America, you can remove it out of your fucking smiley face. Do you understand that? And any crueling animals who were in federal prison in LA from Fresno followed me at Dolores with your profiles. We know who you are from high school, between the ages of 13 and 14 to 15. Now, considering I did get out at 15, and considering I did do connect the dots in 80 fucking countries, you cunts! You try and abuse Disneyland again at Dolores. And we didn't sue you, asshole, with the Roman tribunal. We did much more than sue you. Do you understand that? You call it rape, you know what I call it? A walk in the park. You call it rape, I call it, they're gonna kill you for it. You call it rape, I say, oops, they just shot down the family and chopped off their heads. Iran. Actually, Iran's here, I don't know. You see, the thing with the fanatics, you know, but that was on the coastlines, you see. Yeah. The only problem is, here too. Anyway, I only have 147 to 221 left. Good luck to you, Disney. So they know, those guys know about what's in the place of that girl. They know that after they smashed her head in, there was that void, that somehow they made negatives of that girl elsewhere. They showed that, and they will show more forever and ever since stupid times. Now, they're not the original girl. They're not me, and it's not the family. Obviously, they're not. In any shape or form, the family. The best analogy would be the element bochron is not related to Mach variant. Let's say I started out as bochron on 92, 92 and above the parents. 85, 85, slowly. Then the girl has her head bashed in on the coastlines. And you have the element Mach variants. So everyone thought they were related on Wikipedia, the highest forms of intelligence in the world, found out they're not. And in 80 years, they'll still not know what the element of bochron is, the parents, because it's so dark and advanced. That's to give you an example. Okay? An analogy. A stupid analogy. Mach variants are the most powerful bombs that were shared between one country and another. Now I'm going to say one. Russia, Saudi, Woolwich, London, and the US during the first Masters. Having said that, if that shit went to the shits on the coastlines, then it wasn't a bomb. It's space buildings. It's space science buildings. Variants, it was a big share. It was a So stop calling me Bin Laden. I got my own fucking crowns. Who bet? So don't be colloquially. You see, when you say to the Americans, I had my head bashed in on the coastlines, they don't believe you. That shit's empty because it may fuck you whole. We gave you 221, even without 221, close celeb. Who gives a shit? The news around the world are still speaking about a dead baby. Who gives a shit? Fuck you, bitch. You're Disneyland. Fuck you, bitch. Go back. Fuck you, bitch. Fuck your fucking empty, beautiful buildings. Fuck your shit. That shit gets emptier. Because it's our shit. Not yours. We shared intel with you. For example, when the Barons are retired on 92, 92 and above in Fresno, I was on the coastlines. Nothing happened. Correct? Many flyings. Defending them. On 85, 85, what happened? You still had the intel in the US that I had shared with you and not vice versa. Now, what you have? You have empty buildings. In California, of all those corporations, all of them, not Elon Musk, ours, Acer, Woolwichers, Italians, La Sapienza, Germans, but wait a second, wasn't she Russian, Saudi? Yeah, but I was born and raised in Western Europe, called celeb. You stupid fucking cunt in America. You smashed the head of that girl and her teeth on the ghost line. You didn't even fucking shoot the girl. You hated Jamila so much that you fucking smashed her head in. Then you give her a number, 221, at Disneyland. Those are my fucking buildings, get out of here. They're fucking up to get out of here. I better look at my tits, look at my PC, look at my limousine. I'm gonna fucking kill your ass. Delph 221. In Disneyland, I'll do it. I'll give you the Disneyland version of this shit around the capital cities that many motherfucking times on the news. How long has this been going on? All the flyings, all the runnings, all the crawlies of that girl. Me, I'm the boy. You, say that. The basics around the world on news on the news. Look at Fresno now. Again, look again at Fresno. In the middle of the desert. Okay. Power game maybe. Oh, Tom and Jerry Dark House is girlfriend. The nurses in the hospital, even for me, they hate me. They do. They like abusing. Even me. They're intel. Intel my ass in Fresno. Jesus Christ. That many lives of that girl. That many runnings of that girl. Not many girls. Same nurses, same whores, same bitches, same boyfriends. Nurses, hospital St. Agnes, because the other one is for shootouts. Nursing homes, wingmen, who were prison guards for Tom and Jerry Tire Towels and became social services. Oh no, fuck. Sonia Roach and Jennifer Segura became social services. For Tom and Jerry Tire Towels, his version of the local county. The limos, the fat assholes. In other words, the woman of the world, Fresno County. Let me clean the window a little bit more. Thank you, the many flyings, the many runnings of that girl. And now, the dead crawlies. What a beautiful country, U.S. And I come from the coastlines. In pieces. Disney. Now you know how ugly you are. I have no apologies. None. You speak about coastal level and I say Scott Glenn Film, stay the fuck out of this country and keep your limos, your peach teas, and your titties.